his son by the wrong name. So to give you guys some more backstory on that, him and his wife had push up a show. All right, so it's Jose joined by Marcus today, and we're doing a collab for Dad Chronicles. So last week I had another dad story I wanted to bring up for an episode, and surprise, surprise, I forgot. But perfect opportunity to kind of make a dad chronicle about it. So this father shared his story of his mother-in-law consistently calling his son by the wrong name. So to give you guys some more backstory on that, him and his wife had 10 no questions asked vetoes on names, and the
Yeah.
mother-in-law had a name suggestion like Sheldon. So it wasn't actually Sheldon, but he said that's what the mother-in-law wanted to name the boy, Sheldon. So he didn't like that. They ended up naming the boy Alexander, and the mother-in-law would just not let that die. So once the baby was born, gave the name Alexander. She kept calling the boy Sheldon.
Yep.
And the father was trying to be a nice guy, let it slide, but she kept saying Sheldon, 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 until finally he snapped and said, "If you're not gonna respect and call my son by his right name, get out of my house." So he snapped.
All right, so I'm not gonna. I gotta side with the father on that, just because from my own personal experience, I've dealt with something similar with my
Mm-hmm.
own child. Because I'll tell the audience, but so my son's name was Jesse Alexander Bulls. Alexander. So now, when me and his mom got together, I remember her telling me that like she had kids, she always wanted to name the kid after her grandfather. Which I told her, like, okay, like we can, yeah, that's cool. We can have a discussion about it, but it's something we both got to agree on. So, remember, like one day, like when we finally found out she was pregnant and she was hanging out with her mom, I went over and I walked through the door and it was like, so we're naming it. So he's gonna be named Jesse. Like no questions asked. I was like, so you seriously, like you just made this decision without even asking me? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm his father that I know of. Like you seriously could not like consult me?
Yeah, like,
Because to be
where's your
honest, I
veto
did,
for that one?
I did not want to name him after his. I didn't want to name him after anyone. I wanted him to have his own name, just like my father wanted me to have my own name.
Mm-hmm.
And the name that I wanted to choose would be Justin. I wanted him to be Justin. And to be honest, looking at him now, he could fit. He could definitely fit the Justin role. But what pissed me off was her mother, his grandmother, basically said, "Oh well, he has your last name. That's good enough." I was like, "Excuse me." Two things. I understand that this is the first grandchild in your family. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine, but that's an insult. You just basically slapped me in my face with my own dick and didn't even give me permission to do it. Like yes, he's going to have my last name. He's my child. No questions asked. You ask to hyphenate, that's fine. As long as my name is in there, that's fine. My first child, her first child. We should both agree on the name for the child. And then if we can't come to a consensus, Jesse would be the default name. I could have respected that argument, but she gave me no recourse. And then, of course, she said, well, you can give him the middle name. I was like, really? Sloppy seconds?
Too bad he couldn't do Jesse Justin. That just doesn't flow. I guess
Nah.
JJ, JJ. But
Yeah.
no, I I side with the father as well because it's a challenge picking the name. Like in my situation as well. Like me and my wife, before we knew the gender of our latest baby, if it was gonna be a boy or girl, we were throwing, we came up with names for both. So the boy name was super easy. We landed on Joel. That was gonna be the name. But lo and
Nice.
behold, that's not the plan. We ended up having a girl, and that was a challenge. We had names that we really liked. Mia, Jessica. We would tell them to family members or friends,
Mia
and
would
they
have
would
been a
either
dope.
know somebody, that with that name they don't like, or there's some past drama, or we already have a family member with that name, so you gotta have to keep it original.
Yeah.
So finally, we're like, you know what? We're just gonna keep it Jessica. We liked how that sounded with my last name, just like Jessica Menard. And
Right.
like 2 weeks before the baby's born, my dad was like, "Oh, you're gonna name her Jessica? There's a name called Jessica. Here, listen to it." And he plays like this song from like the '70s in Spanish. Horrible, horrible song. Ruined the name Jessica for me, so we had to pivot. And around the same time was when Kobe Bryant had passed, so his wife was a lot on the news. So Vanessa Bryant, my wife liked Vanessa, so that's how we kind of landed on Vanessa for ours. But man, was that difficult.
Bro, nah, hold up. Your dad literally ruined the name. Okay, Jessica Manhattan sounds like a fucking superhero name, like
For
a
real,
superhero alter ego.
I'm gonna
That would
send
have
you the
been
song.
dope.
I'm gonna send you that song, man, because it like we had it, we were like loving it, and then my dad killed it. But
No,
yeah,
but
so
like
I can
it's
understand why my dad got so pissed though.
like getting back to that story. Like I get like when we get into the whole like it's like their first child and it's also like their parents' first grandchild, so it's new territory for everyone. And you basically got to get into the point where now you kind of got to treat the parents kind of like kids and say like, hey, you can't do this around my kid, you can't say this around my kid, just like they used to tell you when you was a kid, like you can't say this, you can't say that, not until you're old enough because you don't understand what it means. And even then, you kind of shouldn't say it around us. But then they'll flip the script when they got grandchildren because it's not my child. So the same
Mm-hmm.
rules that I had in charge for you does not translate to that child, which is kind of stupid because technically speaking, it is technically your child. It is your grandchild. It's your children's children. So it is in direct relation to you. So therefore, it is your child. It is your family. So you should also respect that sanctity and your child's guidelines for raising their child because you wouldn't let anybody else question you how to raise your child, not even your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to like put like your parents in their place when it comes to your child, just because like you don't want to be like that guy, but at the same time you want them to respect like your wishes as well as the plan for which you have for raising your child. And
Exactly.
it's kind of it's a tricky subject.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure this guy took his mother-in-law's opinion into account. Sheldon just kind of didn't sound good to him. That's the name he's gonna call his kid, for the rest of his life. So, you
That
know,
sounds like a kid who's gonna get beat up a lot in school.
exactly. So, I respect what he did, and hopefully the mother-in-law now is calling the kid by the proper name.
Hopefully, if not, that like banning her it hurts both. It hurts everybody,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I hope she at least respectful enough to like, okay, I messed up. I apologize. I'll call him Alexander from now on. Like, to be honest, like I understand you love your husband, but Sheldon,
Yeah,
sweetie, no. Like you gotta give them some names to like be like have some confidence behind. Sheldon? That sounds like that nerdy kid in the back of the classroom with big ass glasses that everybody throws their books at.
that's already Big Bang Theory. So that name's a little too famous with the character.
Yeah, when I hear names like that, like I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer or nothing, just in case your kid's name is Sheldon. But I hear names like that, and I just think like that kid is gonna have a very tough childhood because I don't know why, but kids with like cool names end up being the cool kids. Kids with fucking named after their grandfather end up being the kids that no one likes until like I don't know his personality develops and then everybody realizes oh shit he's cool. But by that time he's like 32.
Yeah, and names are very cyclical. So a lot of classical names now are popular again. So just whatever name sounds good to you and your wife, husband, whatever. That's the name it should
Like
be.
I can barely count on both hands how many Marcuses I've run into.
Right.
Like at
For me,
least
Jose.
9
Too bad.
everywhere. I know so many
Jose sound like
Jose's.
doesn't. But at least like I respect the history for that. Like I know it's my grandpa, my dad. It's like a legacy. But that's why I was like, if I was gonna have a boy, it wasn't gonna be Jose, just because I know what I went to. But
Everybody asked me like, "So you gonna name him Junior?" I was like, "Fuck no!
Marcus Jr.
I don't want him to have my bad luck.
Yeah,
Like
for
I gotta
sure.
cast all my debt onto him." That's messed up.
That's that.
But yeah, that I really hope that they're able to reconcile because it is kind of painful cutting a family member off, especially when like if the kid's used to seeing them and then you don't see them no more, and then eventually they're gonna ask questions. Like you can never not expect the kid to act like, how come I don't see like grandma no more?
Yeah, so no, like I said, hopefully it hashes out. But that was our story and that was our takes. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Dad Chronicles, everybody. Everybody be safe. Please name your kids some good names.
Please, for their good. All right. Later, guys.
Later.